Morning, Yvonne. Thanks so much for meeting with us today. It's so wonderful to see you.
Well, thank you for including me in your show. This is pretty awesome for our town of Collingwood.
Yeah, and Collingwood's been a true leader in moving the needle forward for affordable housing, so thanks for meeting with us.
Well, you're so welcome.
Yeah, so you were first elected to council in 2018, is that correct? So you sat as a member of Collingwood Council. And you sat on the Affordable Housing Task Force when we first met. That's how you and I met. So you were really passionate about the task force.
Yeah. The council was looking for volunteers to sit on that from council.
Okay.
And I just put my hand right up because it's so obvious that the need in our community.
Yeah.
And it was great to meet yourself.
Oh, thank you.
So great to see someone so energetic, interested, and willing to step up and make a difference.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you for serving.
So it was announced May 2nd, 2022, which is almost 2 years ago, that you were registering to run for mayor.
Yes.
You can believe that?
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Seems like a long time ago, right?
It does. Yeah.
Lots has happened since that time.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to read an article that was published or a quote that was published in Collingwood Today when you registered.
Okay.
So you were quoted as saying, "We need real action on getting housing that is affordable for people who work here. We need action on making sure development respects our community and on building a healthy and safe town."
Yeah.
So tell me what comes to mind when you think back to that time in 2022 and just how far you've managed to push the needle forward in this affordable housing space.
Okay. Well, because you were in our Affordable Housing Task Force, you were able to see in real time the analysis that we were doing. How many units do we need, right? And for what income? And so I was really challenged to make sure that we could, really help move the needle forward, as you say. And as you'll recall, in that initial study that Barry Lyons' firm did, we had it updated. And we know that what we need here right now are 1,300 rental units for people earning. Okay, this isn't just everybody. This is for people who are the backbone, who are working here with household incomes roughly between 70,000 and 100,000.
That's a lot of.
That's a lot of units.
That's rental housing. Just
rental
housing, not people who are buying, just rental housing for people who currently live in the community.
So, and if you don't have a goal, you don't get there.
Oh my gosh.
So that's our goal. And so that's what was in my mind in May. We've really have to see what we can do.
Okay.
And we're not the only one. Let's face it, Canada is in a housing crisis, for sure.
Yeah. But you definitely came into your position with a true passion on focusing on affordable housing and moving that needle forward. And you've done a great job so far. So
we're working on it. A long way to go.
So when you and I first met, I didn't really have much of a background in government or politics. And so sitting on the Affordable Housing Task Force was a real eye opener for me. Mm-hmm. And I learned that there's actually a definition for what the term affordable means. Can you share that? Because I don't think very many people know.
Well, what I was thinking as you were saying that, like there's so many definitions. Okay. And if you want a legal definition, we're waiting for the province to come up with it. Right now, and they're going to define affordable and they're going to define attainable. So what we've done is decided, and in our community we have an upper tier, the County of Simcoe, and so they collect taxes from all of us and other municipalities, and they get funds from the province for what I'll call social housing.
Okay.
So as a town, we're not occupying that space.
Okay.
So the space we decided we'd occupy is, as we've been discussing, for people who work here. Mm-hmm. And so what we're calling affordable is people who are earning in what we call the 4th to 6th decile of income. And that's the number I gave you. Roughly household income between 70,000 and 100,000. Okay. So that's where we're putting our efforts because we feel we can make the most impact there, and it's what we need. Because we're not going to have a sustainable community
Right.
right? If nurses can't afford to live here, resident doctors,
Yeah.
teachers, people who work in the grocery store, like, what are we going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
So to be clear, the social housing is more of a county responsibility. It's
That's
the county
right.
of Simcoe.
Yeah.
And so when we're talking about affordability on a municipal level, we're focusing on that $60,000 to $100,000
Yeah.
income bracket.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. So tell me, what are you most proud of? You've done so much in the last 2 years. Tell me what you're most proud of in the affordable housing space or creating rental units.
Well, I think what we have achieved here in advance of many municipalities and even this county of Simcoe is we have an affordable housing master plan. Right? So, and you saw the beginnings of all that, and we're part of it. Because as I mentioned, if you don't have a plan, you're never going to get there.
Right.
So we know now what incomes we're targeting. In our last budget for 24, we've put aside $25,000 as an example, based on our plan, to help communicate with the community. What does affordable housing mean? Why is it okay to have people who are earning, oh my God, only $100,000 live in your community?
Right.
Don't be afraid. But we know we've got to get the message out. Right. So we've got $25,000 set aside for a communications plan. We've got another $25,000 set aside for seed funding. If someone, please come forward, would like to help develop a nonprofit housing corporation. Right?
That's amazing.
Yeah, because we need somebody to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have that. We've really moved ahead on the area I think you've been really passionate about, which is the accessory housing units.
Yeah.
Right. So we are offering some grants for that. We have a staff person we've hired solely to help individuals get through our process at the town, because it's not for the faint of heart, right?
For accessory units, you mean?
Accessory units.
So there's a dedicated person
Yeah.
at the town that
Yeah.
works specifically with individuals looking to create accessory units.
Yeah.
And that's their job, full time.
Yeah. Well, they'll also do our other housing related affordable housing issues.
Yeah.
But this is a big one for the town, because our town staff also identified early on that there's 900, I'll say, backyards in Collingwood that have the right size, zoning, whatever, to put an accessory dwelling unit in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a lot. Because you remember I said we need 1,300, right?
Right.
Of that income group. So, if we can put the right framework in place where people say, oh yeah, I know, I can go to the town. And by the way, we have some blueprints too for basement units or whatever. So, if we can come to the town and get some help on knowing how to do this, and know what the time frame is, and then with people like yourself who really know how to finance and so on, we can get a lot of things done. So that's been a big push for us.
Yeah, and so I did hear that, which is pretty amazing. The town has actually put together a set of pre-approved drawings.
Yeah.
So if somebody was starting with no background in development whatsoever, they can go to the Town of Collingwood website, see what the pre-approved drawings are, say, I like this one, and then there is an expedited avenue, I hear, in the building department where people can just take that and say, this is what I want to do, and it's a very quick turnaround time for permitting. Is that correct?
Yeah. And so you'll remember when you were on the Affordable Housing Task Force, I was sitting there one day on that, it was COVID, we were all on Zoom.
Yes. Yeah.
Those days are thankfully behind us, touch wood.
Yeah.
But, and you're saying, our buildings department, it's so troublesome because you go in there and it's always different people, and, people coming in who are not, building inspectors, with properties. It's hard to get through the system, and the language is hard. And you went away and did up a layman's guide to the buildings department, like how to get through it. And I was like, wow, this woman's awesome.
Well, right, and that's the thing.
Right.
So I remember when
Yeah.
Jeff and I did our first accessory unit, trying to understand the bylaws and the rules and Ontario Building Code and all these different variables that come into play with it was so overwhelming because we don't speak that language.
That's
so
it.
we needed to learn what the verbiage meant. And for someone else to take the time to do that, to build one unit, we went out on the mission to build many, but for somebody to do one unit would be very overwhelming. So we need to dumb this down and make this relatable to people in terms that they can understand.
So we've sort of taken your concept, if I could put it that way, and trying to put it, I'll say in practice in a more holistic way, but like, because people do need help. As you say, even yourself with all your skills, like walking in and saying, talking to a buildings department person and hoping to get expedited, it's, good luck.
Yeah. So you guys have simplified the
trying.
process for the general public. Anybody who wants to build an accessory unit, they can go on the website. They can see if their property qualifies.
Yeah.
If their property qualifies, they can then go and select one of the pre-approved drawings.
Yeah.
And then they've got the rapid accessory dwelling unit program where they can get an expedited permit.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
I know.
Amazing.
And then we offer, I think it's $5,000, a bit of a grant for this. Plus the county, if you agree to keep the rent at a certain level for so many years, the county will give you a 15-year forgivable loan.
Right.
And I think that's $35,000. And then if you qualify for the county loan, we'll throw in another $5,000. So there's some money to be had too for individuals who are just thinking, oh, I don't know if, where am I going to get all the funds? Do I have to borrow it all? And so there's, our staff know about that too.
So that's up to $45,000 in grant funding alone. And now the first $5,000 that you mentioned, and then the last $5,000, that's through specifically the town of Collingwood. You guys have dedicated funds for this municipality for that funding.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I know. We're trying. I don't know. We don't have a big tax base, so, but we're trying. Yeah.
But it's great. It's just helping move people forward in any way possible.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are your goals for the remaining amount of time left in your term as mayor? Okay. What are your big goals? What would you love to see happen?
So, we've put these pieces in place, but I really haven't seen people moving in too much. Like, I have to qualify that. I have, bigger dreams than what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can say that I know in our accessory dwelling units, like 3 years ago, we had 8 units. And then the next year, as we got into this, there was 40 that was built, right? So we're making a difference, and I know this year there'll be more. But, I think what we need to do is find land where building can happen right away. So the town, we came up with 2 pieces of land recently when the county of Simcoe did a call out to the member municipalities. And they said, anyone got land for affordable housing? And we said, okay, we have 2. And they said, well, we're going to look at it all the municipalities, and see if we can pick a couple to do some affordable housing projects. And so we've given them our 2 pieces of land for consideration and some parameters around what we would like to have happen. Yay. So, and they've committed to, and we've put it as part of the conditions. If they pick ours, we have timelines. We really want this to happen.
Yeah.
But, we don't, as a town, we don't have a lot of land. As a community, we're not very big land-wise, right? But I have been thinking, and I know there's one organization, has a bunch of land that they're not utilizing very much. So on Friday, I'm going to talk to them. So if we can get some land, if we can help expedite the process, and if we can get an organization, and I'm just like, please, someone, come forward who would build. Could you take on a project of 40 units as a nonprofit, right? The town would be right behind you, right? Or even if not a nonprofit, I had a developer in my office right here last week, and he's like, I really would like this certain kind of development to happen on my lands. And I was like, well, the zoning doesn't really allow that. But in the back here, how many apartment units could you do? And we're looking to house people who are earning between 70 and 100,000. Oh, he said, there's CMHC funding. I think I could do that.
Yeah.
So he's away working on that. So, everything takes time, right? Yeah. So, but I would really like to see, what's the word? Keys in hands, keys in doors, whatever. Like, get some people in. Yeah, that's my goal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Yvonne, for taking the time with
Oh,
us
of
today.
course.
We really appreciate your insights and everything that you're doing for the community. You've just done such a fantastic job during your time so
Well,
far.
thank you. I'm trying.
Yeah, and we look forward to seeing what you do next.
Okay. Watch for the expanded water treatment plant.
Okay.
Not as exciting, I'm afraid, but still needed for housing.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.